looked at children who had received the hepatitis vaccine within the first 30 days of life and compared those children to children who had received the vaccine later or not at all. And they found an 135% elevated risk of autism among the vaccinated children. And it shocked them. They kept the study secret, and then they manipulated it through 5 different iterations to try to bury the link.
Impressively, RFK Jr. has made the most basic mistake in all of epidemiology. Kennedy has failed to distinguish correlation from causation, and I'm going to give you a famous example of what's going on here. Crazy enough, people who drink more coffee have been shown to have higher rates of lung cancer if, and this is a very important if you don't control for any other variables. You see, people who smoke also tend to drink coffee more than non-smokers. So in very large data sets, the uncontrolled data appear to show that drinking coffee is associated with lung cancer until you control for smoking habits, at which point the effect disappears entirely. And of course, coffee does not cause lung cancer, smoking does. That's the type of mistake that Kennedy is making here. In the study he's referencing, before you adjust for any other variables, the raw data in one dataset seemed to show that mercury-containing vaccines may be associated with autism. However, after adjusting the data for things like age, healthcare-seeking bias, countrywide patterns in diagnosis, and others, researchers found there was no link at all between vaccination and autism. Here's why that's so important. The researchers found that children who received more vaccines were also more likely to see the doctor more often in general for checkups. As you might guess, children who have autism who actually see the doctor are more likely to officially get diagnosed. People who got very few vaccines were less likely to show up at the pediatrician later in general. And if you never see the doctor, you never get a diagnosis even if you have autism. That skews the data to make it look like vaccines are causing autism, but in reality, the children who got more vaccines were just seeing the doctor more in general, allowing for a formal diagnosis. And that was just one of the confounding factors that they controlled for. When Kennedy says that the CDC covered up the data and they went through 5 different steps to try to bury it, he's talking about controlling for confounding variables instead of just using the raw data. Kennedy is hoping that you will not dig back to the primary sources and that you won't realize he's lying through his teeth by presenting totally uncontrolled raw data. But that's why I'm here, and that's why you should give me a follow if you don't already. By the way, this is the exact same mistake Kennedy made last week to justify his decision to unilaterally change COVID vaccine recommendations for pregnant women.